starting a new day. We all have to get away, walking down the boulevard. Never easy, never hard, holding my head up high, never giving in or asking why. Broke the chain that was to blame. Breaking through and now I know no more arms full of hope. Pass the spoon and now it's gone. Living free from now on. Stabilized so I won't hide. No more roller coaster ride. I'm out on my own again. No more lonely nights to spend. Got a good job and pay. Finding me this better way. Broke the chain that was to blame. Breaking through and now I know no more arms full of hope. Pass the spoon and now it's gone. Living free from now on.
I think it's a very broad social problem. I think it's a problem that has to do with the inadequacy of most of our lives that leads us into one form or another of self-destruction.
I think that there's just a lot of pressures on people. Internationally there's always a threat of war. There's a lot of unemployment and insecurity, and I think there's a lot of people wanting to escape from that reality.
Maybe group pressure or being involved in soft drugs and finding that provided some special feeling, and then you're in a situation where you might find that somebody offered this to you and that provided a better feeling, and so you get hooked.
Well, expectations are built up. Everything that a child, a young adult, a developing person is surrounded with are high expectations. You know, we all want the condo overlooking the water and the yacht for the weekend use and drive the BMW, etc. And that's not going to happen for the vast majority of people. So people escape.
How they get there is probably a lot of different factors get involved, such I guess as child abuse and whatever the case may be.
I found it really hard to communicate what I really felt because I couldn't really tell people what was really going on in my life most of the time. And those feelings build up and you can't deal with them, so you push them down. I think when I got to a certain age, I couldn't push them down anymore, and I didn't know how to deal with them. And when I did stuff, it just straightened me right out, and I didn't have to deal with anything.
The street rules are don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. Those are the rules that...
in a dysfunctional family,
in a dysfunctional family, yeah. Don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. So you grow up in a dysfunctional family, you're just primed to hit the streets. I mean, yeah. All your value system applies on the street already. It's just a matter of compromising a few things, like I won't do this, or I won't do that, or I'll never be a hooker, or I'll never use a needle. Like I've heard that one about I'll never use a needle 100 times, 1,000 times. You keep it up and you'll be doing it.
Father's a biker. My mother was a hooker. My brothers were all drug addicts.
Well, I wasn't popular at all in school. I was really unpopular. And it was just the thing to do, you know. When I started drinking, when I was still at home with my parents, when I started drinking and going to parties, that's when I started getting more friends and started feeling, you know, hey, things, you know, maybe I'm not so bad.
Well, my father was a drunk, so he beat my mother up, he beat me up, he beat my older brother up. So I was adopted, and I was raised by women, and I was raised in a home with other adopted kids. So I never felt part of that family either. Like, I never felt part of anything.
When you're hungry, you don't go to school, or, you know, if you're at school, you can't think about what they're trying to shove down your throat. So all you can think about is that you would like something to eat, you're hungry. And why should you not have food? You're walking by stores and restaurants, and people are so wasteful, and there's so much food, and you can't figure out when you're little why the hell you can't have some. And a bizarre thought I used to think, well, they printed paper money, so why do they, I mean, there's so much money, and they print it, so why is there hungry people? I mean, it all didn't make sense to me, and it was never explained because I never asked. Because you don't ask questions like that. Because you know the answer. The answer is you don't have it, right?
An average junkie's day is you get up in the morning, and if you're lucky enough, you have a fix for the morning. If not, you start to figure out how you're going to get money. And that's your whole day. You work at it to get that money. You think, you go downtown to score, you go to your connections, see if he'll cuff you. You know, if he doesn't cuff you, then you start thinking about kicking in a drugstore or robbing a bank, anything. How are you going to get money? Because you don't want to get sick, No matter what it takes, you can't get sick. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Your whole day is figuring out how to get stuff. Yeah, it's violence, it's death, it's everything.
Working is a really self-destructive thing to do. It's really hard, and it's a lonely, sad feeling. People have always said, you know, you have to be really strong to do something like that. But whether you are or not, it screws you up inside. You know, it screws up any relationship you may have in the future. It's dangerous. It really plays a game with your head.
Wow, nightmare stuff, you know. When you wake up, you don't know who you are, where you've been. You know, you got scars and burns and cuts, and who knows? I mean, really, who knows? Some of it I still haven't remembered. Avoiding people on the street because people would come up and talk to me, and I couldn't remember if I'd met them the night before or a couple days before. And so I ended up feeling so bad about myself and so scared of life that I couldn't even go out of my house. I was terrified of life.
For me, it was a source of money, a source to make a living, and a way to meet people, you know. It all has to do with living skills. When you don't have any living skills and you have a bag of dope, I mean, you can become king for a day. You can buy whatever you want to buy. You'll have all kinds of friends. You'll have people that you never thought would be your friends. You'd meet girls that you never thought you'd meet, and you'd have a heyday. But when it's all gone, they're all gone. And you're sitting there in a hotel room, alone, scared, stoned, strung out, and all you want to think of is do more, because you're hurt.
He was just being really rough, and he wouldn't stop, and I tapped him on the chest and said, listen, don't be mean to me, I'm not mean to you. And within a matter of seconds, it was like he was over me, hugging me like this way. But he was reaching into the pillows of the couch, and he pulled my head forward this way by my hair and started sawing on the back of my neck vigorously.
I was operating on a level of, like I was saturated. My brain was saturated with drugs and alcohol for so long that I was emotionally frozen. And the choices and decisions I was making in my life were insane. you know? If you feel like you want to kill yourself and it's no big deal, I don't think I'll kill myself today, Jesus Christ, right? Well, attach some feelings to that, you'd think you'd reach out for help, right? Well, I didn't. I reached out for some more drugs, right?
I was coming late for rehearsals. The one gig we did at the New York Theater, I went, just before I went on stage, I went and fixed. And I don't even remember the gig that well, right? I can't even really remember it. I remember going on stage and kind of coming off, and that was about it. I was good enough at the drums. My playing was good enough where I think if the drugs weren't a priority that I would have gone a lot farther. But they were a priority, and that's what I was into. And there was a lot of other people in the scene that were using a lot too. And after that band and that gig, which was I think around October '84, I just went straight into it. The drumming was just no more really. I was pawning my drum set to support my habit, as a matter of fact.
I don't know, you know, you'd think that it would make me stop working, and I worked after that. I tried to quit. I quit for a year, but I would go to Edmonton and work there, and that's stupid because it could happen there as easily as it could happen here. And but at that point I didn't think that quitting the drug abuse, you know, like I didn't think that that was a part of it, that I had to quit drugs as well. Like the two go hand in hand.
I can remember being like 17 and thinking, I'll die of a drug overdose. Somewhere along the line, I'll die of a drug overdose. Because I felt so totally unique. I thought, nobody feels like this. Nobody feels to the depth I feel. That I thought, I'll never get out of this. I don't think I really wanted to when it was still fun, when it was still party time. But it hasn't been party time for over 15 years. It became my life, the people I hung out with, everything. Yeah, I never thought I'd get out. And I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I would die a drug addict.
When you first came here, right, what sort of drew you to the house?
Sanity, man.
Because you hung around for you hung around for a long time before you decided to move in, right? I remember the first day that you came over, right? Darlene phoned me. Darlene's a friend of mine, and she's a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And we talked, and she asked me if I would hang out with you a little bit, and you came over. And then you started to come over more and more and more. But like, was it just the sanity, or was it the environment? What was it?
Well, like,
what were you drawn to?
What got me here is like, okay, I was suicidal, right? And I was fucking driving my car, and I was fucking done. I was wired. I was drunk, and the wife was gone, the kids was gone, everything was gone. Fuck this. There's no reason to live. And like I was doing like about 110 miles an hour at a telephone pole, and I guess that's my first Hyde Park experience because I don't know how I fucking missed it. And I went to a person's house that I didn't even know was in the program. I hadn't talked to in months. And like fucking, they take me to a meeting, and I talked to Darlene, and then they told me about this place, and I came here, and it was like I could instantly relate to everybody that was here.
It's not like I walked in the door and went, oh yeah, this is for me. I walked in the door and went, like, are they serious? You know, and I'd intellectualize everything other people were saying, and well, this one's not like me, and that one's probably a bozo anyway, and like that, right? But I was still hearing things, and they were making sense, and opening up my mind enough to try it.
When I decided to become straight, I didn't really know what I was in for. I just knew that I was tired of using drugs. I was tired of being wired. I was tired of getting up sick. And I didn't know much more than that. And I didn't have much of an urge to do anything but that. I wanted to be straight, but I didn't know what I was in for, because it'd been a long time since I'd checked into real life. And like real life meaning life without sedation, right? So I found it really hard to function and really hard to relate. Totally impossible most of the time.
I went through detox several times, but I really didn't want help. You know, Like, I just didn't want help. Maybe when I went into detox, I wanted help because I was sick. But once I started feeling better, I thought, well, I'll just go back, because that's all I knew. It was like, how I got into a recovery house is like, emotionally, I couldn't take anymore. I still had a few things, like I had a place to live, which was pretty abnormal for me to have a place to live after, in the last 4 or 5 years of using. You know, it just, I hit an emotional bottom. I just couldn't kill myself, and I couldn't keep on with that lifestyle. I knew I had to do something.
I was working, and then I saw this guy I was going out with, and I hopped out of the cab I was in, and I said, "What'd you do tonight?" And he said he went to a NA meeting, and he said he felt really good about it, and just it really hit home for him. And I immediately just jumped on it. I'll go. I want to go. I'll go to a meeting with you. And the next night, I think it was. Yeah, it was the next night. We went to one together. And it was the hardest meeting I ever went to. I mean, it hit home. I cried throughout the whole meeting.
It's really neat because I never liked hippies, right? I always had a hard time with their real philosophy type shit, and I was more like, I liked violence and I liked reality and cut and dry type stuff. And this guy, he had like silver boots, orange pants, and a green shirt, says to me, "You don't got to feel like that no more." I go, "Say what?" You know, like, what are you talking about, right? And he told me a bunch of stuff that's out of the program that's all about being clean and sober, and I never heard a word. Went right over my head, right? But what I saw, I looked in this guy's eyes. He wasn't shaken, he wasn't sick, he looked alive, and he had something I didn't have, that was hope. Like, that day I wanted to blow my head off. I had had enough living. It was the only answer I could come up with. Take a gun and pull a plug, right? And that's what I was gonna do. And it just so happened this hippie happened to be there and says, "You wanna go to a meeting?" So I said, "Sure, I'll go." Checked it out, didn't like it, got loaded. Felt the same again, shit, I don't like this. Checked out another meeting. Didn't like it, got loaded. Third time around, I'd already known Louise. She said, "You know, check this out. I'll go to a dance, meet some people," so it was a little less informal. Checked out a meeting and met this other guy. That's when the head opened up. Yeah, try this. Been clean since that day. It'd be 5 years right away.
He comes out of the joint, right? He's done his time. There's other guys. One guy just come in, he just did a 4-year bit. Peter comes in out of detox. I'm looking at him, man. The guy he's like a lot softer. He's quieter, but his stuff's inside, right? And he does his thing. He fits in this house. He's a part of this house. Why? He's willing. He wants a taste of it. Corey's 15 years old, you know? Like, could you imagine cleaning up when you're 15 years old?
That's when the party started.
Yeah. But see, it was bad enough. Same thing, right? It was bad enough for him to walk in the door, reach out for help. It's like, you're in the water, man. What are you gonna do? Be cool and drown?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I go skydiving with this guy, right? He's got this thing hanging out of his chute, right? I say, "Hey, man, there's this thing hanging out of your chute." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, eh?" But rather than go up to this instructor and say, "Hey, man, like, this thing's hanging out of my chute," he's gonna be cool. He said, "Man, I'd jump out of that fucking plane and die before I'd, like, be uncool and say, 'Hey, man, this thing's hanging out of my chute,' right?" So, like, we went and asked the guy, eh? You know, and it wasn't supposed to be there, so they fixed it, right? But he might not have said nothing. Why? Be cool. You walk in the house, you're feeling bad, you're under pressure, and sometimes it's hard to go, "Hey, man, I need some help."
Somebody comes in, why now? What's the crisis? Court? Death? Ex-old lady? Just bottomed out, hit the detox? There's always a reason. And they come in with attitude problems, right? Well, yeah, if they didn't have that, they probably wouldn't be a drug addict. It goes with the lifestyle. So they get leveled out. The other guy's taking care of business, working the steps, trying to be positive even when they're not, is an influence. So the whole basis is positive peer group pressure instead of, like, when you're out there, you know, you tell me you're going to quit, I'm going to give you dope because you're a threat to my position. You make me nervous, right? If I'm in a room doing cocaine, somebody ain't. They make me real nervous, right? So you got to let go of people, places, and things for a while. And as you turn on, you find out what you want in your life, and you can make different choices, right? This is just an environment, clean and sober. It stays clean and sober.
I tried the geographical change, a few other people, Jeff, Ken, we all have, right? But what happened was we still took ourselves with us, right?
Yep.
And we still used, we still had those same problems, right? We still had the same fucking pain. And the pain is why we used, right? So we couldn't get away from ourselves. So then when we decided that we wanted to clean up, when we hit our bottom, when we decided like, hey, fuck, I don't want no more of that shit, right? We still had all those problems. Like, my addiction is only a symptom, okay, of my disease. It goes a lot deeper than that, because I got to carry. I've had all those feelings that we were talking about this morning that I have enmeshed, right? That I haven't dealt with because I got loaded to get rid of them, and now I got to learn to deal with them, and that's difficult, right? You got to face up to those things.
Yeah, well, I know that. Like right now, I'm up on my 7th, 8th, 9th assault, and the second indictable one, due to like my fucking answer, yeah, okay, let's fucking go, right?
So it's not the last 3 months were bad. When you were in the meeting in there, you're going, well, it's the last 3 months. And then we said, well, it's the last 15 years.
Yeah,
well, I just lost control for 15 years, right? That's pretty
well,
out
if
of
you want to
control.
go back, then I've been fighting since I was like, I don't know, the first time I punched somebody's face out, my mom told me I was 2. So it goes back a lot further than that.
It goes like that for all of us. All of us, when we were kids, all grew up fighting.
Yeah.
And it's something, when I first moved in here, I can remember sitting and having these meetings. We used to have a meeting every fucking morning from 8 o'clock until 9. Okay? And sit down, and some guys would really piss me off. And this one guy, he's got, what, 9 months clean now? He's big boy too, and I didn't give a fuck, so I don't mean nothing. He pissed me off. He walked out that door. Just as he got out that door, I wung my cup at him, you know. And I tell you, I was going to kill someone over a slice of pizza. I was kitchen coordinator, and he'd come in, and he wasn't listening to anything. And it's so easy, you can cop that old attitude. And for me, before, I thought I could punch him out, and I won't get kicked out, because I'll just tell Dave. You know? But I know if I'd done that, I would have done it, and I would have kept on doing it. There wouldn't have been anybody left in here but me, probably.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, you hear this, oh, you're going to punch someone out, take them off the property. Well, if that was the case, people would be getting dragged out in the front street daily to get punched out. It's got to be dealt with in here,
You'd still be kicked out. And what you do is when you have that problem, you sit down, like now you have, for myself, I feel I can help anybody now. Since I've been through it, I know exactly what to do, okay? And all I can do is give you a suggestion on what to do.
I have no ability to handle pain. I have no ability to handle stress. I have no ability to be responsible, because I'm used to being responsible for getting up and getting my dope, and that's it, right? That's the only thing I've been responsible for, like, for years. So when I have to be responsible for anything else, it's stress, right? So I find I check in and out. I'll be straight for a while, and I'll handle it, and every time I'm straight, I learn more and more, right? I'm always absorbing, as people do, and my skills become really good that way. And then I have to check out for a while. It just becomes just too much, right? I have to take a breather, and that's my way of taking a breather, is using.
I get the impression you're not dealing with something that's really, really bothering you, and it's making you very fucking angry. And I'm trying to figure out whether it's because you're lonely and you're scared of the future, because you're lonely because you lost a good chunk of your family. You're scared to deal with those feelings.
That's part of it.
And I tell you, this guy right here, I've seen them both bawl their brains out because they're lonely and scared. Dwayne walked around here screaming, fucking ranting and raving, putting his attitude on everybody because he was so fucking angry at the death of his mom. He wasn't willing to accept it and deal with it, right? And when he finally got willing to accept it and deal with it and allow us to love him, because to get rid of that loneliness that he was feeling, and same with him, he doesn't have much of a family. He doesn't have any family right now, right? His dad's somewhere in Canada, right? doesn't know where, but his dad's somewhere in Canada, right? He allows us to love him.
This is serious stuff. I'm working with people's lives. I'm going to do the best I can do. And I've grown as I've been in the job. And I've watched the house turn from, you know, guys just staying here, you know, maybe getting a piece, maybe not, into where we got a full program, where we run discussion groups, relationship groups, step groups, what they need. I want their input all the time. What do you need? Let's fill it, right? And we run it flexible, you know, because you're dealing with people. Like, there's hardly any rules here. Not that I want chaos, but I try and inspire in the guys this take care of business attitude, to where they'll take care of themselves. You know, they've had enough of the system where, you know, you break the rule of your history. They've had enough of the real institutional environment. They're not going to get recovery there. In this, it's an old place. We do our own renovations. We fix it up. We change it. And bottom line is, in this place, and with the way we set up this program, that the people come first. See, they're not clients. They're people.
Okay, I got a brother and sister left. All my relatives are in Europe, so this is all I got left, right? They're both using, and my sister's the worst case of denial I've ever seen in my fucking life. She drinks every day. She's fucking jumping into bed with people to buy her drinks. She's doing coke. She's the one that turned me on to cocaine and turned me on to my drugs at 8, 9 years old. She's gonna kill herself. I know it. I know it in my heart. She's dead. She's dead. Okay, now am I supposed to let that go, man? The last of my, well, I got 2 family members left, and one of them's on a suicide course.
You know what attracted you to recovery? Like I said, there's some people that ain't messed up and ain't suffering. They didn't come and say, you know, we can't heal you, we can't save you. They didn't try to hard sell you nothing or give you nothing. They just did their thing. So that's.
So what do I do, Dave? I just sit back and watch my bag go to the door.
The way you live, man.
I'm watching my sister go down right now, man. Like, she lives 2 fucking blocks away. She drinks every day. The environment she lives in, there's dope. It's not a very good environment. I have to let that go. I'm watching her go down more and more every day. She comes to me, help, help. I try to help her. What can I do, right, if she doesn't really want it? I have to let it go.
Can I say something here too? Like it's, Dave just touched on that. It's a program of attraction, not promotion, right?
Yeah.
The way that you live, right? Your sister knows how messed up you were, right? Okay. Like if you do all you can, right, to improve your lifestyle, okay, then you're going to carry the message. And that's another thing we're responsible for, is carrying the message. That doesn't mean just verbally. That means like by example, by the way that we live.
Well, I'm in a recovery house right now, and it's a really good place. There's a lot of support within the women. But there's... The first time I tried getting straight, I had compulsion to use almost every single day. Just driving compulsion, you know. It's really hard not to act on that. And then this time, it was really pretty smooth once I was in the house. Like, it was really hard getting into the house. It was just, it was a mess. But once I was in, it was seemed really smooth, you know. I thought, well, this is great, you know, and I kept expecting to fall off my cloud, because I'm not having compulsion and I'm not having a hard time. And I did fall off my cloud, but I expected it.
Me and Ron, we went to your brother's place to take the tunes off him, eh? That was really tough. We went there, he offered us a coffee, right? And then he cracked a beer for breakfast, eh? It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And the first beer was, do you mind if I have a beer? And we just go, oh, 1 beer, no problem. And we went so blind to this. And then it was, do you mind if I have another beer? No, not really. Do you mind if I have another beer? It was like this, eh? And when we got around the 4th beer, we said, well, we don't really want to be around you, you know, it's someone if you're gonna get drunk, eh? But we sat there. We didn't get up and make the move. Excuses, well, we're in Surrey, we gotta wait for our ride. We watched the guy get pissed. Bad situation.
You had a choice there too, though.
That's what I'm saying. I had a choice and I didn't make it. I sat there and thought, I can sit there through this. Alcohol's not my drug of choice. It's not gonna be any problem. Man, it fucked me up. Yeah. I'm sitting there looking at this cold fucking beer and it's talking to me. The beer's going, fuck, come here, bud, have a sip of me. It's like it talks to me. It's like when me and Ron found that bag of syringes at my dad's and I cleaned out my closet. It was like 10 little syringes with arms and legs, and it lets me and you go for a walk downtown. Fuck, I kid you not, they talk to me, man.
I don't break up the categories at all. Alcohol's a drug, you know, heroin, cocaine, they all have the same effect. They kill you emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. They do you. And if somebody's getting started, not everybody's an addict, not everybody's inclined in that direction, but if you add compulsive obsessive behavior, anger, a lot of things, if the drugs and alcohol in your life are causing you a problem, right, chances are you should have a look at it, right? And if you got a kid that's smoking dope and drinking on the weekends, and now you got court, now you got charges, now you got consequences. Softening up those consequences is enabling them to continue using. That's the consequences. That's what you get, right? It ain't good, but there's things you can do in there to help, right? Unconditional love, right? Like being there, but not saying, yeah, it's okay to screw your whole life up, right? You know, there's a lot of help out there.
Friendships are still a problem for me. My life skills are limited. I don't know what's normal. I have a hard time figuring out what's the normal way to act, and realizing that 9 times out of 10 you be yourself, and that's the normal way to be, right? That's okay. You don't have to do something special to be okay, you know?
When I went to play baseball, all the guys are drinking beer, and I'm watching this cold beer go around, eh? And I looked in the cooler, and I looked at Roger, and I just licked my lips, eh? I went over to the cooler, and I looked in, and they respected us, and the guy brought root beers for Roger and I, you know? So that was okay. So instead of wetting my willy with a fucking Molson Canadian, I wet it with A&W root beer, you know? And the funny thing is, though, I can still have just as good as time as they are when they're drinking, and I am straight. It's good for each of us to be out here. You know, like tonight we lost. Fuck, did we lose? But usually, if I was using, or if Roger was using, he wouldn't have a ball team, and I wouldn't even be out here. I'd be sitting in some sleazy bar, getting drunk or getting stoned, and wondering what the weather's like outside. And I'd leave the bar, it'd be 12 o'clock, it'd be dark. I missed the whole day. Here, I'm out all day long, I'm out in the sun, I'm even walking around in the rain, and play ball in the rain even, you know? And it's good to get involved. It's really something I'm not used to. It's really fun.
I got a lot of determination, and it's really the only thing I know how to do really well is play drums. And so that's probably, you know, I'm just gonna have to really put a lot of effort into it to get back in, because I want to go professional with it. Yeah. You know, a lot of my friends that played the circuit, a lot of them are either in Europe or they're playing professionally. It's incredible, and I'm still sitting back here and starting up again, so that's okay, though. I'm pretty comfortable with it. You know, I'm pretty happy to be playing, let alone playing drums. I'm happy to be alive and straight to do it. We help each other, you know. We talk every day, you know, right when we get up and right before we go to sleep. And it's keeping us clean, you know. Like, I see myself today never going back to drugs or alcohol ever again in my life, just for today. You know, I don't look at staying clean tomorrow. I just look at it today. And you put a lot of those together, you get, you know, you get some long-term sobriety, you know.
Recovery.
You bet.
Because I've seen people in various 12-step programs, right? And they have all these years, but they're miserable, right? And I don't want that, you know. And then I see people with 4 or 5 years or whatever that are happy, you know, and they're doing things. That's what I want, right? I don't want this, you know, staying off drugs is good, right? But if I'm not having fun, or if I'm not enjoying myself or liking myself and not liking what's going on, then there's no reason to stay, you know, clean. There isn't.
Look at tomorrow, eh? I'm going up tomorrow morning.
on a heroin possession charge. It's breached probation. I've been in trouble with the law for frauding banks. I'm going up for a charge, you know, like possibility I could do 6 months time. I don't think that I will, but if I do, I'm gonna go in clean and sober, and when I get out, I'm gonna move into a recovery house again. Like, I'm set on it. I got support from this guy, like he's gonna come to court with me, you know? I need the moral support. To court tomorrow is a perfect excuse when I'd be rationalizing my life to go back out and use. Well, I'm gonna do time anyways. Why not just go out and have one more, you know, good run with stuff, right?
Recovery ain't a suffering, miserable experience, right? It's like, yeah.
Which is what you think it's going to be.
Oh, Christ.
I mean, I thought, what will I do when I get clean and sober? My life will be over. And a lot of guys ask that question, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any more fun. But the question you ask back is, were you having fun? If you're having fun, surely you wouldn't went to detox. And surely you wouldn't be here. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't fun anymore, was it? Well, no, then they get to telling you it wasn't fun. But that's the addict thinking. It's warped that, you know, that somehow you're having fun in all this, and being straight is going to be a real drag.
Well, it's a slight, well, we were 6 months clean. We jumped on a bike, went down to LA, check out a meeting down there. I met this dude with 24 years clean sober, one of the people that started the whole thing going. And it just blew us away walking a meeting, 800 people just caring.
I'm so new in recovery, I don't really know. I just want to get straight. I want to get out of that lifestyle. I want to quit abusing myself. No using addict may die out there. You know, there's so much resources. There's so much help if you want it.
I just take it a day at a time. You know, I do what's necessary today to stay straight. Lots of days I don't want to stay straight. That's the last thing I want. You know, but I have a bit of self-worth today, yeah, whereas I never had that. And I learned it all because of this house.
It's, the biggest problem I think I have is trying to mix. When I'm straight, I'm about 12 years old because I didn't grow. And then when I'm using, I'm about like 40, right, or 50 or something. I'm really hard. So it's trying to combine those two personalities, right? And anytime I get vulnerable or defensive, like this really hard shell comes up immediately without me even, I mean, it just comes up. So I have to break that.
I can't believe it. Like, I am a peaceful person. I have my days where I get tense and go through periods of negativity, but mainly I'm happy most of the time. I smiled and laughed more in the 5 years I've been clean and sober than I did in 10 years before that. Like, I had no sense of humor. Everything was very morbid. Yeah. And I thought that that's the way it was supposed to be, that was my lot in life, to be an addict, to be...
A shit sandwich.
A shit sandwich, yeah, that's life. That's what it's all about, you know. If the world was a better place, I would have been better. It was like I was going to solve the world. When there's peace in the world, Lou would quit using, right? Wow, you know, that's addict thinking, you know.
I don't attach my identity into the people I'm with, my bikes, my woman, anything. It's like, I'm me, I feel real solid with that. You know, when I'm feeling insecure, I talk about it and deal with it. You know, I'm recovering, I'm not recovered.
There's a lot of people, alternative and punks and such, out there using, and they figure that when you clean up, that you have to drop all that, right? You have to give up all that because it goes along with the drugs, and basically you don't have to, you know. There's a lot of different characters in the house, and they, you know, like we have bikers. The guy who runs the house is a biker, right? And you figure, how can anybody have tattoos and long hair and you know, cuss and stuff and be sober and clean? But they do, and they have a good time, and they're good people, right? And maybe we can show people that they don't have, you know, you can still be yourself, but you can do it clean and sober and have fun still, right?
I take it really serious. Like today, you know, using it, it's not optional. It isn't like using to me. If someone handed me a loaded outfit, it's like, might as well just hand me a gun, right? It's no difference. Because, you know, if I went back out now, I bet, yeah, I'm sure that I'd be dead within 6 months. Either someone would kill me because I own too much money, or I'd kill myself, right?
I learned a good lesson. Living the way I live for the years I've lived it, I've learned a great deal. And I figure if I can stay straight and go back to school, I'd be a pretty smart cookie, you know, with fiber. Fruit and fiber. I don't know, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And from what I've been doing the past few months, I like it. And there ain't nothing in this world that could ever make me want to go back.
Like, hey, before I came in, man, it was like everybody else was so fucking stupid, right? I knew it all. As I sat there with my doors locked and my ounce of blow in front of me, you fucking dummies, right? You know, I fucking do.
The big thing I have a tough time with is when we sit in a room like this and we all get open and it's out there, it's as clear as day. I have a hell of a time why everyone can't take to recovery like this because it's just so bloody honest. It's like there's no doubt in my mind about what I'm hearing to me is it's true. Yeah. It's not lies. Like you said, 20 people say you're an asshole, chances are you're fucking
asshole.
Yeah, but we're not gonna rip your shit and walk out the door, right? If somebody's ripping your shit because you're being an asshole or you're fucking yourself over, you know, yeah, we'll get on you, but we're sitting there, you know, yeah, we care, man. And maybe we can help you if you can fucking help yourself.
What's the saying? We're going to help for you, but we won't go with you.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, guys, well, like...
Everything makes so much sense. It's a cosmic thing happening.
Okay, let's close this meeting.
Okay.
Boom.
I smell cheese fragrance.
Cheese fragrance?
Last thing said, Sid Vicious was not a bad guy.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back, it works.
Yeah, it
Stop, guys.
Seems to me a change is coming. I'm looking up. Time to wash away the old and fill my cup. Cup may not blow it over, but it won't get any lower. I'm starting again. Chains may come and chains may go. I didn't care, but the one around my neck, I wasn't aware. Now it came off like the albatross. It's great to feel such a heavy loss. I'm starting again. Seems to me a change is coming. I'm looking up. Time to wash away the old and fill my cup. The cup may not blow it over, but it won't get any lower. I'm starting again. I'm starting